Chapter 330, Angel and Rakshasa, CL by Bagelson. Rather than two people flying out of the Spirit Empire army, they should be called two gods, God of Angels Chen Rinxu, and a purple-armored Rakshasa god Dong. And Tang San now also clearly saw that the commander of the Spirit Empire army below was astonishingly the Spirit Empire's holy maiden, Ulina. Blue light quietly formed revolving around Tang San, light flashed, and all of Jilin Pass turned into a world of blue, driving away the deep purple and golden red-colored sky. Tang San had already flown out of Jilin Pass, appearing in midair. How? Tang San's mind was blank. Everything had been in his control, but he had never imagined this situation. Indeed, the Spirit Empire's less than 100,000 men didn't count for much, but Dong and Chen Rinxu facing him now were gods that could overturn the entire Heaven Do Empire. The change in Dong's appearance was enormous. Before she had been noble and stunning, and even as an enemy, Tang San had to admit that her temperament was the most noble of all the women he'd met. However, now Dong only radiated an intensely evil aura. Calling her blue-faced and viciously fanged was in no way excessive. Her blue-green face and purple armor formed a clear contrast. Her armor was covered in a purple cloud with a vicious smell, and from either side of her back extended four giant sickle blades. Without a doubt, Dong was no longer Dong from the past. While her aura might be wicked, her god-level energy waves weren't fake. It was also her ability that had previously concealed her divine intent, hiding her in Chen Rinxu's presence. Gazing at Dong, Tang San spoke in a low voice. 3 days ago, you had already returned, right? Dong gave a cold laugh. Kid, how unexpected. Not only did you and her become gods, I too inherited the Rakshasa god's divinity. You both had it much simpler than me. In order to inherit the Rakshasa god, I spent a whole 20 years. Don't tell me you never wondered how I could have such a high position in Spirit Hall that even Chen Dalu didn't dare easily touch me. That was because he sensed the divinity in me. If I hadn't always been secretly accepting the Rakshasa god's inheritance, do you believe you could have beaten me with that measly spirit power when we both had twin spirits? Now I have finally completed the inheritance. When I underwent the inheritance, I was already a rank 99 title Douluo with twin spirits. So what if you defeated my Spirit Master legions? I will retrieve all of it. The Douluo Continent will be my domain. Tang San looked coldly at Dong. To quote yourself, aren't you afraid the wind will get your tongue? Dong laughed shrilly, making the ears of anyone who listened ache. Even the blue sea god domain Tang San had released wavered in this sharp sound. Tang San, is your jaw still locked even now? Right, you really are very strong. I admit you are definitely outstanding in the young generation, so much that even this daughter of mine isn't your opponent after inheriting the god of angels. However, you no longer face just her alone, but me as well. Even 1 against 1 you might not be able to beat me. So how would you stand a chance against both of us? Today is the day of your death. You're right, I came 3 days ago. Unfortunately, it was still 1 step late and I missed that battle, letting you get away with it. I had to bear patiently for 3 days to treat little Shui's injuries and help her regain her strength. Tang San suddenly smiled. Dong, is this your confidence? Why would you need to wait 3 days to know if you could defeat me? It seems your divine intent really isn't clear. Chen Rinxu had been silent for a long time, but finally coldly opened her mouth, gazing at Tang San. There's no benefit to more talk. Dong, remember, I have never admitted to being your daughter. Kill Tang San first. We'll settle our affairs later. Dong glanced over at Chen Rinxu, her eyes immediately turning moss green, and within that dark green color was also something like a black web, looking extremely strange. A giant dark purple sickle appeared in her hand. She and Chen Rinxu holding the angelic sacred sword instantly separated, one left and one right. All this was really too sudden for Tang San. Even though he'd felt uneasy when he couldn't track and kill Chen Rinxu before, he had never been concerned. After all, after he'd planted the seed of defeat in her heart, she was completely unable to threaten him, and she wasn't his opponent in terms of pure strength either. However, Dong's appearance turned everything on its head. Regret changed nothing, but he couldn't help feeling intense remorse. Ever since he defeated Dong, Tang San had somewhat overlooked her, especially Chen Rinxu becoming a god and chasing him had made him consider her as his strongest enemy. Since he had become the sea god, Tang San was even less inclined to consider Dong, who he defeated before becoming god, as a threat. He'd neglected that Dong was like him, a holder of twin spirits, and had long since reached the rank 99 level. How could she never have considered striving for divinity? Taking a step back, if he could have killed Chen Rinxu before returning to rescue Jilin Pass that day, he wouldn't be so passive now. If he faced Dong alone, Tang San was confident he could at least fight, and who would be the victor couldn't be said. But now the enemies had doubled. 1 god against 2 gods definitely wasn't as simple as 1 spirit master against 2 spirit masters of the same rank. The corners of his mouth shifting, Tang San revealed a self-mocking expression. When he faced Chen Rinxu 3 days ago, he had been wary of her trying a suicide attack, but now their positions were completely reversed. The one that had to stake their life was him. The top of Jilin Pass was now already dead silent. The soldiers wouldn't feel concerned. In their minds, Tang San was unequaled, but all the powers saw that the situation was far from good. This was obvious from how the purple light Dong emanated was fully capable of rivaling the angelic power Chen Rinxu released. Tang San clearly had no problem fighting 1 Chen Rinxu, but now another enemy with at least her level of strength had appeared. 1 against 2, could he still win? Just as a haze filled Jilin Pass, the battle in the sky had already begun. The one who took the initiative was unexpectedly the underdog Tang San. The blue light suddenly converged, and Tang San abruptly flew up. The sea god 8 wings unfolding from his back, beating with all their strength and sending him like a blue shooting star towards Chen Rinxu on the left. Due to completely drawing the sea god domain he released earlier to himself, in this instant, he was completely enveloped in blue light and couldn't be seen. Chen Rinxu's heart startled, even though she came with Dong this time. When facing Tang San, the oppressive feeling in her heart didn't weaken in the slightest. After all, whenever she fought Tang San in the past, she had been at a disadvantage, and this habitual attitude made her divine sense muddle whenever she faced him. Seeing Tang San attack her, the angelic sacred sword rose sharply, intense golden light blossoming like a sun. She also turning into a golden ball of light, meeting Tang San's attack. Tang San of course had his reasons for striking Chen Rinxu first. After all, he crossed swords with Chen Rinxu several times and was fully familiar with her abilities, completely holding the advantage. Compared to Dong, he was more confident in facing Chen Rinxu. In 1 against 2, if he couldn't take the initiative, then there would be no point to continuing the battle. If he let the mother-daughter pair charge up the full divine power of 2 gods, he held no confidence in blocking. Dong didn't expect Tang San to strike this quickly either, but her expression didn't change in the slightest. That giant sickle in her hand swung quietly, and a strange scene appeared. The portion of purple light in the sky that belonged to her rolled forward with the giant sickle, turning into a several hundred meter long giant blade that chopped straight at Tang San's back. An attack that had to be dodged. The strategy of besieging way to rescue Jiao. Tang San was already in front of Chen Rinxu before the threat behind him arrived. Faced with that familiar power of true sunfire, Tang San's eyes flashed with divine light, and his incomparably high-speed charge came to a sudden halt 30 meters away from Chen Rinxu. In fact, he really had been using the full power of the sea god to charge forward, and coming to such a sudden halt was equivalent to an attack on himself. The expression on his face wavered, clearly enduring an intense impact. However, even in these circumstances, Tang San's actions never slowed for a moment, still as fluent as clouds and water, completing his plan. The sea god's raiment he wore suddenly exploded, brilliant blue light instantly folding. His body, armor, and the sea god trident instantly merged into one, and then turned into that giant sea god trident. Intense blue light swept out, meeting Dong's attack. Dong hadn't seen Tang San's move. Chen Rinxu had, but she was just defending with all her strength against the impending attack. Once she saw Tang San suddenly stop in midair and change the direction of his attack, there was no longer enough time to react. The 3 were all gods. Their attacks were as fast as sparking lightning. One might say that the first feeling was the most important in battles between gods. If that feeling was wrong, you would immediately pay the price. The sea god trident was already pure gold, and that familiar speck of golden light easily floated out, just blending into Dong's seemingly world-rending purple sickle blade. Immediately after, the golden trident spun, and that sickle light blade seemed to attack on its own, striking straight towards Chen Rinxu. She was now only 20 meters from Tang San, and when Tang San's trident rolled, the purple sickle was already in front of her. Boom! Even Tang San himself was shocked at the result. Chen Rinxu's golden light ball was unexpectedly forcibly destroyed by that purple sickle, and she gave a muffled grunt in the air, clearly injured. Dong was actually this powerful? Even though he took a bit of advantage by using the Big Dipper to use her force, Tang San was still secretly shocked. Even though Chen Rinchu responded in a panic and also lost the rhythm of her defense because of Tang San suddenly stopping his attack, both being gods, BB Dong's attack was actually able to blast away Chen Rinchu. It was clear how enormous the energy contained in the attack was. Moreover, even if Tang San only relied on his force as a guide, he could still clearly feel an extremely icy wicked divine sense charging at him, forcing him to devote a lot of his divine sense to shield himself. What a sly brat. With a flash of purple shadow, BB Dong stepped in the air, just one step, but she actually arrived in front of Tang San. The purple sickle in her hand slid through the air, appearing in front of the golden trident by a strange arc. Light flashed, and a golden silhouette separated from the golden trident. Tang San, however, right now all of his sea god raiment had turned completely golden, rather than its original blue. He swung the golden trident in his grasp upward in a circle, forming a perfect circle in the air. Unfixed storm blocked BB Dong's attack. A resounding crack echoed in the air, and Tang San felt his golden trident clearly slow down mid-swing. The power of BB Dong's purple sickle wasn't stronger than his, but the evil intent it contained constantly assaulted his divine sense while both weapons clashed, making him feel extremely unwell. Clearly, the divine power of light that the sea god divine power held wasn't enough to withstand the Rakshasa god's peculiar wickedness. This bit was also obvious from when Chen Rinchu was beaten away earlier. Even the angelic power's pure sacred force couldn't completely dissolve the Rakshasa god's evil. So how could Tang San's divine power that only held a smidgen of light do better? With a ringing sound, Tang San and BB Dong parted like lightning in the air. A stream of purple-black turbulence was already twisting around Tang San, and a whirlpool of blue energy was also around BB Dong. Their divine powers simultaneously invaded the enemy. Clearly neither of them was at an advantage. Even though it looked like this on the surface, Tang San had actually gotten the worst of it. After all, when he previously relied on the Big Dipper to shift the attack to Chen Rinchu, he had forcefully stopped his momentum from flying, leaving his breathing uneven. He'd further used the golden 13 halberds final form, and then repeatedly faced BB Dong's attacks. Naturally his condition wouldn't be ideal. Fortunately, Tang San had brought out the true power of the sea god, and was still able to block. Only with the golden trident transformed, turning his sea god raiment completely golden, was his sea god power and his divine sense completely attuned, just like Chen Rinchu's true sunfire combination. This showed just how careful Tang San was. In his previous fight with Chen Rinchu, always holding back some insurance, but in the present situation he could no longer hold anything in reserve. Tang San now knew that he absolutely couldn't stop. Otherwise, if he was besieged by both mother and daughter gods, he would be in danger. Consequently, at the same time as Tang San separated from BB Dong, the 8 wings on his back beat, and he flipped over in the air, using the momentum from BB Dong's attack to accelerate with all his strength, flying backwards. Right now BB Dong was just balancing in the air, her face showing traces of purple. Her gorgeous angelic raiment constantly glinted with rays of purple light. BB Dong apparently hated Tang San to the bone, and her first attack earlier was launched with the fully charged up Rakshasa god domain. Even the god level Chen Rinchu couldn't avoid being injured. Luckily her angelic domain was purely light attributed, giving it a very powerful resistance against the Rakshasa god's evil energy. But even so, her complexion was extremely ugly. At least she'd suffered some injuries. Even though Chen Rinchu's angelic raiment had recovered over the 3 days' time, her all-out attack against Tang San back then had after all been extremely exhausting, injuring her roots. That wasn't something a few days of healing could recoup. Further adding Tang San's constantly changing moves, and the unexpected use of the Big Dipper, this time she'd suffered heavily. Before Chen Rinchu had caught her breath, she saw the golden silhouette swiftly grow bigger in her vision, and she couldn't help feeling bitter. Oh Tang San, do you really take me for a pushover? Golden light flashed in her eyes, and Chen Rinchu made a choice that Tang San had never expected. She sharply bit the tip of her tongue, spraying a mouthful of blood on her angelic sacred sword. Her whole body seemed to suddenly expand a bit, and with a resounding explosion, that instant, her angelic raiment burst, turning into a massive sweeping flame. The true sunfire formed by the angelic raiment breaking turned into a giant angelic figure in the air. That terrifying energy made the surrounding space darken. It was the sun angel she bet her life against Tang San with 3 days ago. The difference was that this time Chen Rinchu didn't use the sun angel to directly attack Tang San, but rather controlled all the energy of that swollen god of angels to condense in front of her. The incomparable true sunfire moved along with her, forcibly blocking Tang San's path. It was a fact that a cornered dog would leap a wall, let alone a god. Tang San had definitely never expected Chen Rinchu actually choose not spare her foundational power when the mother-daughter pair had such a clear advantage. The originally weakest point suddenly became the strongest. The scorching heat of the sun angel even shattered the space. It really was too great a threat. Even if Chen Rinchu hesitated a moment, the circumstances still wouldn't be this bad. At least Tang San still had a chance to react. However, when Chen Rinchu produced the sun angel, his distance to Chen Rinchu was yet again that subtle 20 meters, but this time was completely different from last time. The energy of the sun angel was really too terrifying. Chen Rinchu used an instant burst of divine power to target Tang San. The sun angel exploded with divine intent, turning into pure pressure. Golden red light covered it in a moment. The sun angel's 6 giant wings instantly closed. The burst this time differed somewhat to 3 days ago. Back then Chen Rinchu had battled Tang San for a long time, using the sun angel at the last juncture after spending considerable divine power, but this time she launched this potent attack from the beginning. As a result, she still had some energy left over to keep herself in the air. Seeing Chen Rinchu's reaction, BB Dong was shocked as well. But how could she pass up such an opportunity? Glaring purple light instantly erupted, and apart from the giant sickle in her hand, those 8 purple sickles on her back also flew out at the same time. The 9 sickles instantly combined, turning into a completely dark purple Rakshasa scythe with countless spiraling magic patterns, slashing straight at Tang San's back. With a deadly threat approaching from behind and the enormous pressure ahead, Tang San suddenly understood something. In god-level confrontations, controlling the battlefield was extremely difficult, because battles at this level had too many variables. The battlefield that he originally thought was already under his control had been upset because of Chen Rinchu's near hysterical effort, even placing him in a difficult spot. With 2 gods as opponents, even if they only did it subconsciously, they could still form perfect cooperation through their divine sense. Boom! Chen Rinchu didn't have a monopoly on going all out. Faced with near certain death, Tang San exploded. Around him, 10 spirit rings, including the god-level spirit rings, collapsed in an instant. He actually used the Great Samuro Hammer's ring detonation on god-level power. The golden trident changed like an illusion in the air, the extremely profound style flowing smoothly, instantly transforming into countless trident shadows. The golden 13 halberds, 13 as one, around Tang San. The sea god's power exploded like a volcano as 10 spirit rings burst simultaneously. It was also at this split second that he was forced to stop 10 meters in front of the sun angel. Despite the sun angel's terrifying energy, in the moment of his ring detonation, the true sunfire was still unable to advance even a little. An ice-cold voice reverberated in the sky, filled with sorrow and vastness. Sea, gods, twee, light. Tang San's whole body, including the sea god's raiment, now completely turned into strange yellow crystal. An immense yellow pillar of light suddenly shooting from him, aimed straight at the menacingly enormous sun angel in front. Water and fire mutually countered each other to begin with, and when that incomparable sea god energy clashed with Chen Rinchu's sun angel, an immeasurably enormous shockwave formed in the air. A white hot ring of light detonated from where the 2 energies clashed, and 500 meters in the air turned completely incandescent. Even though the explosion was high in the air, the terrifying pressure still made anyone below the tidal Douluo level kneel on the ground, shivering and unable to budge. The sun angel disappeared, and there was still a third of that enormous golden pillar Tang San unleashed remaining. Tang San used fact to prove the distance between him and Chen Rinchu. However, this sea god's twilight ultimately failed to strike Chen Rinchu. In the instant the 2 terrifying divine forces collided, BB Dong's Rakshasa scythe was already behind Tang San. Facing the Rakshasa scythe was Tang San's sea god 8 wings. The wings instantly folded, trying to catch the side in between. However, this divine weapon condensed from Rakshasa god BB Dong's full strength wasn't so easily blocked. At the same time as that massive blast wave erupted, Tang San's sea god 8 wings were crushed by the frightfully evil force. The blast wave caused by the clash of the sea god and angel god together with the sea god 8 wings completely shattering still wasn't enough to fully stop the Rakshasa god's attack. After all, Tang San's full attack power was directed at the sun angel in front of him. What he could do in the end was try his best to shift half a step sideways, avoiding a hit to his heart. The dark purple light disappeared into the right side of his back, then pierced through his chest armor, protruding from the right side of his chest. Tang San could no longer keep his balance, and he toppled forward, the sea god's twilight tilting, the remaining third of its power barely brushing by Shu. Her left arm seemed to evaporate, disappearing completely, and her body was blasted away by the enormous force, spinning as she fell in the distance. Bastard! BB Dong roared, a dark purple string cutting through the air, winding around Shu in an instant and pulling her back. Even as the god of evil, her heart was filled with fear, just that bit off. Shu would have been swallowed by Tang San's sea god Twilight, no matter how rigid BB Dong and Shu's relationship was. They were still related by blood, and in the end she was still her daughter. When BB Dong pulled back Shu, this god of angels was already fully unconscious, and BB Dong's divine power wasn't able to heal her anymore. She could only rely on her own to recover. A dark purple ring of light burst from BB Dong's right hand, making a grabbing motion towards the Rakshasa scythe lodged in Tang San's body. She hated Tang San to the extreme, and would detonate Rakshasa scythe to annihilate this sea god that nearly killed her daughter. Pooh! Tang San's hand suddenly grabbed the blade protruding from his chest. His divine sense and remaining divine power condensed on his hands in an instant, stubbornly refusing to let the wicked divine power of the Rakshasa scythe erupt. Tang San felt a chill, a volt that seemed to emanate from his soul. Without a doubt, under the enemy's near-fatal attack he had defeated Shu, making her lose any strength to fight, and even nearly killed her. He couldn't have done any better. However, he ultimately faced two gods. The even stronger BB Dong's all-out attack was more than he could deal with. Could he have reached the end of his life here? That icy feeling grew stronger and stronger, as if it would swallow his soul. Tightly gripping that giant Rakshasa scythe, Tang San started to slowly pull out this divine weapon bit by bit. The sound of the Rakshasa scythe grinding against the sea god raiment made everyone who watched below shudder. Little San, Tang Hao was sick with worry, fiercely leaping from the top of Jolin Pass. In midair, he threw out his clear sky hammer, also using the great Sumeru hammer. 9 rings shattered, all their energy exploding with this one attack, straight at BB Dong. Grandmaster cried out at the same time. He didn't have the ability to help Tang San, and his hands tightly gripped the battlements until his fingernails were cracking and bleeding. Boom! A giant shadow flew from Jolin Pass, unexpectedly a giant bone dragon. This was Bone Douluo Gurong's Knight's spirit ability, Divine Bone Dragon. On its back stood Sword Douluo Chen. 7 colored light shot from the top of the walls, Ningfengji supporting them with his full strength. He had only one goer, to snatch Tang San from BB Dong's hands. BB Dong gave a cold snort, her right hand still controlling the Rakshasa scythe. The dark purple strings around her already lowering Shu into Hulina's arms. Her left hand swept through the air, and a ray of dark purple light struck Tang Hao's exploding clear sky hammer. Boom! Light rained in all directions, and BB Dong's expression changed slightly. Clearly, she hadn't thought Tang Hao's attack could actually erupt with such power. His full strength was already infinitely close to a god. Along with Tang Hao's attack, BB Dong's divine sense that was surveilling Tang San wavered for an instant, and Tang San caught this opportunity, abruptly pulling the Rakshasa scythe from his chest, with a rain of golden blood. Humphrey, BB Dong gave a cold snort, and the Rakshasa scythe Tang San held detonated, directly turning into 9 giant sickles that burst in front of him. Tang San's hands were shredded by those 9 devil blades, and even the sea god Raymond arm guards turned into fragments that sprayed in all directions. His spirit power really was too weak after launching sea god Twilight, basically not enough to resist BB Dong's attack. With a miserable grunt, he fell straight down. Luckily his divine sense could control the sea god tried to sweep out, just managing to block the pursuit of the 9 sickles. A giant sword filled the sky, Sword Douluo Chen Sword Unity, leaping from the bone dragon's back, straight at BB Dong. Right now the Sword Douluo's eyes were filled with the will to die. When he completely forgot about survival, this sword strike became the pinnacle attack of his life. Bone Douluo's giant body even more directly charged at BB Dong, every bone emanating deathly pale light. These 2 7 treasure glaze tile school elders were investing all their spirit power and vitality into this one attack. No eggs remain untouched in an overturned nest. They both understood that if Tang San died in BB Dong's hands, then even if the Spirit Empire didn't have a single soldier, it would still be a catastrophe for the Heaven Do Empire. BB Dong's vicious face was filled with disdain. Light flashed, and she disappeared. Left in her place were her 9 devil sickles. BB Dong, you dare! Tang San roared, divine light flashing in his eyes. Just managing to catch his balance, he faced BB Dong, who appeared suddenly in front of him. He didn't have a trace of fear. In that instant, a surging mental power abruptly exploded from Tang San. 2 rays of glittering golden light shot out, straight towards BB Dong. BB Dong instantly had a strange feeling. She knew that these 2 rays of golden light were condensed from Tang San's last mental energy, his last all-out attack, but she still couldn't dodge, as if she was drawn in by the light in his eyes, like her soul had left her body. Not good. BB Dong cried out inwardly. She obviously hadn't expected Tang San to still be able to condense an attack of this level at this time. However, no matter what, Tang San had no way of stopping what happened meanwhile. Those 9 wicked Rakshasa sickles met Sword Douluo Chen and Bone Douluo Gurong. Both clashes happened nearly simultaneously. Countless deathly pale bones shattered in the air, and the spirit sword that had followed Chen all his life instantly broke. 2 tidal Douluo that had moved unhindered on the continent for a lifetime died miserably in midair. This was the gap between men and gods. On Doling Pass, a deathly pale Xiao just reached the top of the walls with Ning Rongrong and Oscar. They had received the news a step late, and could only arrive to see the scene of Tang San and BB Dong's last clash. GE, thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.